We have like a little collage picture, which is nice. That kind of pops up. So, yeah. All right, cool. All right, everybody ready? All right, here we go. Going live in three, two, one. Hey everybody, welcome back to Kruse Control. It is February 16th, 2023. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Kruse Control, the home of entertainment news. I am your host, Brian Kruse. Thank you for being here again. And joining me, as always, my co-host, Miss Sabrina Vittori. Sabrina, welcome back to the program. How's your day today?
Wonderful so far. How about you?
Happy Thursday. It was great. It's been a great day, right? It's a nice day. We're almost to the weekend. Can't complain, right?
I agree entirely.
Sabrina's like, I can always complain. I can tell it. I can tell she's saying that.
Well, that's definitely a fact, but that's not where I was going tonight.
And it's a special program tonight. We've been trying to do more interviews, and we're bringing in a guest tonight, a very special guest, Corinne Britti. I almost said Brittany.
Got
Britti?
it. Yeah.
Corinne Britti?
Close enough, honestly. Hi.
Corinne, welcome to the program. How are you doing tonight?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you for joining us here tonight. We're here to talk
Great.
about your movie, right? Your movie.
Yes.
We saw it, Condor's Nest. We saw it. It was fantastic. You did an amazing job.
Thank
I
you.
thank you for coming on here and talking to us about it because it's just fantastic to have an actor on the program that's working and just busting her ass and doing great work.
I
And you're
really
here to
am
talk to us
busting
about it.
Yeah. Thank you. Cool. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you guys liked it. Yeah, it's kind of a crazy whirlwind, the whole process of making it. But yeah, yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. We want to go through all of that, but just if
Great.
anybody, so they know about the program itself. So, Condor's Nest, the log line for it is a decade after the fall of Nazi Germany. An American aviator travels across South America in search of war criminals and encounters more than he bargained with. So, if you haven't seen it yet, you can see it pretty much anywhere on any platform right now. It's on Apple TV Plus. It's on Amazon. It's on, you can go to Redbox actually and get it. You can see it at Google Play Store. You can find it anywhere right now. Go out there, rent it, buy it actually if you can, and check this program out because it is fantastic.
Thank
It
you.
really is.
It's also in a few theaters, select theaters, in major cities. If you live in
Oh,
like,
still
huh?
like right
because it
now?
just
I think so. Yeah, I mean it started being in theaters the 27th of January.
Oh, okay.
So
Awesome. I
it
thought it
could
was
be.
earlier in January. I'm so sorry.
No, that's fine. I don't know how long it's going to be in theaters. So I could be wrong. It could have just been like a week. Yeah, but it's definitely available to rent, purchase, indulge yourself a little bit and support small filmmakers.
it's it's great. And it doesn't feel like it's a small filmmaker project though. It really doesn't.
Yeah, it's the director's second film ever, uh,
Oh,
Oh,
awesome.
wow.
in the universe. Yeah, he didn't.
In the universe.
Yeah, in the whole world, he didn't. He only has one other feature under his belt. And before that, he was a bartender at a cigar lounge, which I think he still does occasionally. His story, I can get into it, but his story is absolutely wild, and it was an equally wild experience being a part of it.
I can't imagine. We're going to get to that. We're going to get there, but I want
Yeah.
to start off just like how long have you been acting and what got you into acting to get to this position where you're at today?
Um, I I've had a pretty conventional journey, I guess. In terms of like I was like a theater kid in high school, and I went to like a prep school and where everyone went to like the same college afterwards. This was in North Carolina where I'm from originally. And
Oh,
like
nice.
it was just like everyone went to college and everyone studied like business if you were a boy and English if you were a girl. And that was like pretty much the path. And like occasionally math and science for any gender. Go nuts, guys. But that was kind of the path, and like it so I had no idea what I wanted to do, but I know that I was like a huge theater kid, and like on a whim, I auditioned for one BFA program, which was at Tisch, and I got in, and I've been acting ever since. Yeah, I was like, I
That's
mean,
all it takes though, right? It
yeah,
just gets that itch and all of a sudden you're like, that's what I need to do.
it really kind of was like crystallizing because I applied everywhere else for a completely different thing. I would have had a completely different life if I didn't get in to NYU, but I did. And I was like, I don't know, these guys think I can maybe do it. So I might as well try.
It's a
That's
very
fantastic.
prestigious program there. I mean, it's very difficult to get into, and it's the only thing you applied for in theater and you got in. That's pretty
I
badass.
know, which sounds like insane, because I know
It
some
does.
because so like the kids I went to, and I had no idea about NYU. Like this is like where I was in North Carolina. Like you went to the North Carolina, huge college state, and so the only
Yeah,
colleges they tell you about are the colleges in North Carolina and like maybe a couple South Carolina, or in the states surrounding. They don't tell you about all the other ones except for the Ivies, obviously.
of
But
course.
my mom has always been like really supportive. She's been my momager for since
That's so
before
nice.
she even knew it. And so we visited New York, to like, go to theater stuff because she wanted to like encourage that part of me. Wasn't sure about what I wanted to do yet. We toured NYU because I was that age, and we left halfway through because we hated it.
Oh
I
my
was
God,
like,
really?
I don't want to
That's
live
awesome.
here. This isn't because it wasn't college like the movies. It's like in the middle of the city. It's like
Very different.
terrifying. Yeah, it's like really, it's so different from where I grew up, and I just ended up there, and yeah, I mean, like, but I ended up going, and I had a crazy experience and a BFA program. I don't know if either of you guys have been to one of those, but I scared about half of my classmates away. And
Yeah.
about yeah, I think about like from it dwindles like the amount of people who enter and then graduate with the same degree
Absolutely.
at a BFA program.
Yeah,
So
everyone gets nervous about it. They're not sure what they're going to do, if it's going to work out for them. It's like
yeah.
all of a sudden, well, maybe I shouldn't do this at all, or maybe there's somebody in their ear that tells them to stop.
For
That's hard
whatever
too.
reason, yeah, I mean, everyone had different reasons. A lot of people were like, it's really different than it was in high school. It's not the same. And then they went on to do, and they're a lot happier now. There's a very strong, like, BFA to social worker pipeline. I know a lot
Oh
of,
wow.
yeah, I don't know. It's just like a
Interesting.
lot of or teacher, a lot of my classmates who got their BFA ended up going back to school and becoming a social worker or a teacher, which is very noble of them and selfless. And something that I just didn't do because I was like, no, this is, I was just like, this is the only thing I can do. It's, which is something they
I
tell
highly
you.
doubt that. I highly doubt that's the only thing you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can keep a cat alive. Also, I can keep a plant alive, but
Very
But it
noble.
probably,
yeah,
I can't keep a plant alive. I can keep dogs
yeah,
alive, but not a plant.
yeah.
Don't come at me with gardening.
It is hard. Yeah, it is hard. It took me, all of quarantine to figure out, but they're still going. So I don't know.
well,
But yeah, it's
what led
hard
you
to
to the
monetize.
Condor's Nest though? What led you to Condor's Nest though? Like
Yes.
what happened? How did
Okay.
you audition for it? Like, and what was the process for the actual casting?
Well, it was on Actors Access, open call.
Oh,
I
nice.
Oh wow.
I read I'm primarily like a comedic actor. That's kind of like where I sit usually, and like the most of the work I've done in my entire career has been like comedy forward. I've dabbled in like dramedy, but mostly like improv, comedy thing, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
I
then
was
so
going to
I
ask if
saw
this
the
was your style because I mean, you are so dramatic in this too. It's like you're so intense. And I'm like,
yeah,
is this your normal stuff or is it not?
no, not at all. It's not.
Well,
I mean, like,
you
I'm not German. I don't
I was
speak.
you
going to
have
say,
a
yeah,
comedy
yeah.
show. I'm sorry, Brian, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you have a comedy show in
Yes.
Brooklyn that you do, right? Called Almost Therapy.
Yes, we moved to a different venue in Manhattan, but yeah, we've been doing. I host a stand-up show with a good friend of mine, also from NYU. And like we've been doing, we write and produce comedy and write stand up and perform it all over the
Totally
city.
different.
So
Yeah.
different. Insanely different. I have my hand, yeah. So like, what's nice about the industry, if you really stick with it, is you can find a niche. You can find like comedy niche, you can find theater niche, you can find whatever. There's all different places, and so I have my hand in many different baskets, and so like when film and stuff and like stuff like that isn't really working out, I'll go and do comedy, and that's like I really started it as like an outlet. But basically, yeah. So that's where I lived for much of my career. And
then Condor's Nest.
And then Condor's Nest. Well, I saw it and I was like, she's like a really intense person. I read the breakdown. It was like really thorough. She's like a German woman. And like my mom was born in Holland. She's American and she lived in America most of her life. But like my oma and opa, my grandma and grandpa are both from Holland. They're both very Dutch. And I was like,
That's great.
And this, yeah, well, and so, which is cool. And like both of them lived through the Nazi occupation of Amsterdam. And I was like, I'm such a history person. I was like, oh my God, this would be so cool to be a part of. I'm never going to get it, but whatever. It'll be fun to audition for.
That's how it is though, right? You put it out
really
there.
Is. It really is just like, I was shocked the entire process. So I submitted on Actors Access. I was like, I'm never hearing from them again. And I didn't for a month. I was like, okay, well that didn't happen. And then I get, you gotta get an audition. They asked me for a self-tape, and I was like, what?
Really? All right.
I know. So I did the script. I sent in the tape, and I was like, I'm not gonna get it, but whatever. I used my
Lo and behold,
Dutch accent. My accent was like, I looked up a couple German words that I could throw in here and there for the scene, and then I submitted it, and I was like, I'm never hearing back. And then 2 weeks later, they were like, send us another one. And I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, I really was honestly like shocked the whole time. And then I think there was one more self-tape that they wanted me to send. And then they were like, and when I sent that off, I was literally, this was the beginning of 2020. This was like stuff was shutting down, and they wanted to have in-person callbacks for the third callback, but they ended up having us send in tapes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's tough too, isn't it? Especially for something that in depth and like this big of a part. Like,
yes.
That's what we have to do though.
Well, that's why they wanted to, they were not planning for any of this. How the movie got made is like not at all how it was really supposed to get made. But yeah, they ended up, I remember talking to my therapist after I sent in the third one. I was like, oh my God, I got really invested. Like, this is exactly the opposite of what they tell you to do. Like, cause you had come so far, and like, it had been like a 3-month journey at that point from like sending it and waiting to hear back, and sending more and waiting to hear back, and all that stuff. And like, of course, after that many callbacks, you're like, oh my God, like I can't, like the waiting is terrible, and you get invested, of course. It sucks. Like if I hadn't been, if I hadn't gotten it, I don't know what I would have done. I would have been devastated.
Well, luckily you didn't have to worry about that.
I know. But so then they finally they sent me a thing on over Actors Access, and they were like, okay, we're coming to New York. So like, and so they wanted to have in-person callbacks, but they were like, we couldn't find studio space because obviously all of them were closed, and the production company and everything, director, they all live in Greensboro, North Carolina. Coincidentally, one town over from where I grew up in North Carolina.
Wow. What? How is it even possible, right?
I don't know.
Meant to be.
It's very weird. My best friend in the world from high school, she's from Greensboro, North Carolina, which is also where Phil Blattenberger is from, the director.
Wow.
And Dan Black, the producer. So they texted me, and they were like, we want to see you in person, but we couldn't find studio space. So where can we meet you? Do you live near a park? And I was like, I live near Prospect Park, but it's really noisy. There's always a ton of people there because it's the pandemic. All they have is the park. And
That's it.
They were like, okay, the Greenwood Cemetery is right next to it. We'll see you at the cemetery.
Oh my
And
God.
2020.
I know, it was so insane. So I'm like, sounds good. I want this now.
Make it happen.
I want it real bad now. And so I get full hair and makeup, which is not a lot, but you know what I mean? You get ready. I was in the costume.
Oh,
I had
yeah.
a leather jacket. It was May at that point, sweltering hot already.
Oh, of course.
And
oh my God. And the humidity.
And I rode my bike there, which was very stupid because I live at the bottom. Because I don't know, the way to get to Greenwood Cemetery is basically up a hill for 20 minutes.
100%.
Yeah. I get there drenched fully in sweat. I ended up just like getting off my bike and walking because I was like, I'm gonna be too sweaty. And then I get there, I'm waiting around. I'm like, I find like an empty place on the lawn, and I'm literally, and he called me. I was like, where are you? I'm like, oh, I'm by the willow tree, you know. And then I get there, and so in one of the scenes, I'm like holding a gun to one of the characters. In every scene, I'm holding a gun.
You are.
Pretty much. You're pretty badass. I would like to preface
It's
that.
awesome.
Very badass character. Very badass.
It's insane. It's wild. And so I brought like a lighter, you know, one of those long lighters as like a prop. And I was like,
makes sense.
Am I going to get tackled in the middle of this cemetery? There are like mourners coming to like see their loved ones.
Pay respects.
Like,
of course.
They're like tourists.
Like, what are they doing here?
See the cemetery. Insane. So he sets up like a camera on a tripod, and I'm doing the scene, and I'm like yelling in German, and I'm like, you know, and he's like, can you like my kind of lady.
Thanks, GR.
Terrified for your love life, sir. So I'm like screaming at like Jacob Kahane, who's the co-star, also one of the producers, and Phil's like, she's like really angry, so I'm doing it like super angry. I'm like turning up the threatening stuff, and then in the middle of the take, the bell on the bell tower starts tolling and doesn't stop for like 10 full minutes.
God. Oh, jeez.
And so I'm just, so we're all standing there like, and so I start making small talk because of course I had Googled the director long before, like for my second self-tape. And I found out that he's from freaking Greensboro, North Carolina.
That's so wild.
And I was like, so where are you guys from? And because I wanted to bring it up because I thought maybe, I don't know, we're from.
Slide it in.
Yeah, we're
never
from.
know. It could help.
Coincidence, you know. And turns out the producer and I went to rival high schools, like several years apart. But he was like, "Oh yeah, I was like, "Oh, I'm from Winston-Salem." He's like, "No way, I'm from Greensboro." I'm like, "What? That's crazy! I had no idea." He's like, "Yeah,
so much in common."
I know, we have so much in common. He was like, "Yeah, I went to Summit," and I was like, "I went to Forsyth," which are rival high schools. Absolutely nuts. And then I don't hear. And then we finish the scene, they leave, and I don't hear anything for like 3 weeks.
Oh my God.
That's a long time.
The entire time.
And you think
like,
it's done, right?
And
you think
I
it's done.
I'm like, they did all that. They came to a cemetery to see me, and I still didn't get it, which is like, but I'm like, whatever, fine. It's cool, fully vibrating from the nerves of things. And then I went on a hike with my roommate at the time, her boyfriend, and his brother, because we needed to get out of the apartment. This was in June, and like,
where
so we're
did you
on a
hike in New York?
We rented a car and went out to New Jersey. So we hiked in one of the, I don't remember the state park's name, but I'll always remember it as the place where I basically what was supposed to be a 3-hour hike turned into a 9-hour hike.
God.
We got extremely lost because the maps were not updating. We had no service on our phones. We got to the peak we got to one of the peaks. We took pictures, and I had cell service, and I got a notification. And we were tired, hungry, because my roommate was really paranoid that they were told there were signs everywhere, don't bring food because of bears. And so she's like, oh my God, don't bring food.
Oh,
So we had
God.
no food. All we had was
Oh
water.
my God.
And I got a thing. And it was like, you have a C-mail message, which is so annoying. They don't give you the message in the email.
Yeah, you have
The
to go in
worst.
there.
And then you're like logging in. You're like, what is
And
this?
it's
Like, what's happening? What is this?
Logging in, it's loading, and then you click on the thing, and it's loading. It's taking forever. I've want half a bar. And then I click on it. It's the world's longest email. And I'm
Of
like,
course.
here it is. It's like, we loved you. And, it's always, I've gotten it before of like, we love what you brought.
Thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah. It's like, we wish you the best and we'll keep you in mind. And
Always.
it's like, okay. And at the very end,
Yep.
it's like, we would love to have you on. And I was like,
oh, yes.
like, you could hear the echo like from all the way down back in Brooklyn where and I was like, and at that point my roommate and everyone else was like so exhausted, and I was like, I have the strength to carry us all home. I was like, oh my, it was the best.
That's amazing.
Yes, it's so cool. What a great story too, to actually be like that close to the production team like that you're you're like a random audition on like a Actors Access that you got yourself.
Completely random. Yeah. Open call.
And an open call. Like, how many people like audition for an open call, especially with self-tapes. Like
they said around like 15 to 1,700 people they saw.
Wow.
They saw that many auditions, which is
that they saw, let alone all the people they didn't call to do a self-tape.
I know.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
that's a huge pool to beat out. Congratulations.
Thousands, probably.
That's awesome.
Like, that's amazing.
Thank you.
Really,
and then like how long?
Sorry, go Brian.
Go ahead, Sabrina. Go ahead, Sabrina. Yeah, get in there.
You don't speak German at all. Like, you learned German to speak the German that you had to speak in the movie?
I learned the lines in German, and I interviewed a German person who's a friend of a friend who also happened to be from like the same region that Lena was from. And I was like, okay, what are your sayings? Like, what do you say? Like, is there something regional you can tell me? Like, what would your grandma say? And all that
That's
stuff.
awesome.
I really wanted all of it. But yeah.
You were your German was very, like, was like, not just the words, but like your mannerisms, like the way that you broke and spoke English and then went back to the German. Like, it was just, it really was so, I thought for sure that you were German. Like, to hear that you're not German, I had no idea.
I would have thought you were too.
Utmost respect for you in the first place, but like now I'm floored. Like, it was like,
I was going to ask you
in the trunk with the gun. I was like, are you kidding me right now?
That was epic, by the way.
So
that was
badass.
awesome. Just the shot, like when you shoot in the car to get that guy, like he's like, oh yeah, and he starts talking. You're like, I knew you weren't deaf. I knew it. I knew.
That was my favorite sequence, I think, of you. Was it was really great.
Yeah, I think
it was the pinnacle of badassness.
Thank you.
It was so good. How long were you in that trunk, by the way? How many takes was that? How was that?
That wasn't too many because it was like 4 a.m. at that point, and the sun was going to rise soon. and they were like,
we gotta get it.
And so I was only in there and like for maybe 45 minutes. It really wasn't that long, but it really was.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it really, it's not. It was, but it's a real car from that era. It smelled like it. And it was
that was great. The props, the vehicles, like the surroundings, it was all very, very on point to this.
Yeah,
I mean, really great.
And when you shot in North Carolina, right? North Carolina, it seems like it would be someplace else.
Yeah, the majority of my stuff was all shot in North Carolina, in a town I completely forget the name of. It's like the tiny, you have to zoom in super far on the map of North Carolina to actually see it. It's like in middle of nowhere. We were staying at a Motel 6 because that's the only hotel that's all there was. Yeah, that's all there was. It was like a truck stop. There was like 3 motels and a gas station, and that's it. And then everything else was like old tobacco fields, basically. Wow. And that's where everything was shot.
That's awesome.
And the director,
but it looks so legit.
It really does.
It really does.
They did an amazing job. The director also like built the sets. Like he built the cottage, the French cottage at the beginning. He and a couple of his buddies went to Lowe's and built that. He built the tent with
like
Michael Ironside.
where he went up in the attic and shot the flare like that.
The
he built
interiors,
that?
yeah, the interiors were shot in like a real place that existed, but the exterior he built
structure?
that. The structure,
Wow.
he built that.
That's nuts.
Insane. Yeah, he was like, yeah, he literally like put up a sleep hammock and slept in that. It was just like day in and day out building these. Isn't that
writer,
wild?
director, and set design.
Set designer, wardrobe guy. I mean, he literally
was doing everything, huh?
Yeah.
How was that? Was that fun to work with someone that was that close to the story and like that in tune with it?
I mean, it is and it isn't. You know what I mean? It's like it was like his baby. But what I like is that he's not as experienced as other directors. You know, this is like his second film, and everyone else on set had more experience basically on film than him. And what I loved is that he was very open to collaboration and like thinking about it, and like if we as actors, if we were like, I just don't think, you know, I would say this, or like, I think I would say this in German. Why, you know, we're both German. Why would we speak English to each other? That kind of thing. He was very open to that and being like, and was very up for, you know, changing things here and there to like accommodate everyone, which was really, really cool.
Yeah, some directors aren't like that too. It's really tough sometimes. People are that close to, they don't want to budge on anything. No. So it's nice that he was so collaborative with you.
There's some, I've worked with some directors where like, it's not your movie. It's my movie.
Yeah, like if you miss one word, like that's it. They're like, where was like, the? And I'm like, oh, exactly. I'm sorry, the? I'm okay, I got it.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, exactly. Where they're like, it's not, you're in it. You are you're merely a vessel.
I just love like the cat and I just love though the cat and mouse kind of chasing with you and like Vogel. You're like, I need to get this guy, and the fact that they tie you up and then he gives you the keys and then you have to, and you still come after him.
It was
that fun playing a character like that? Yeah, was that fun playing a character like that just doesn't give up?
It was so fun. I was like, I mean, because I was like, I can't believe I get to do this. Like, I never thought I would get to be like a German spy, like holding a gun at people's faces, like screaming at people. I mean, it was so cool. Like, I was like, I'm not going to be an action star. That was never even occurred to me. And so like,
and you are an action star.
I know I am. Isn't that great?
Supreme badass.
It's so cool. Thank you. It's so cool. It's like, it was so much fun. And like, you know, it's an indie film, so parts of it were a slog, but, you know, it's like summer camp in a way, but, you know, you don't drink it.
I can imagine that. So, absolutely.
Yeah. It was,
how many days of shooting did you do?
I think it ended up being a total of like maybe 5 weeks.
Okay, that's a good amount of time.
Spread out over a couple months. Yeah.
That's a good amount of time though. It's enough time to get into it, and actually, and you can tell they spent time on it too when you're watching it. So with the airplane stuff and like all the props, I'm like, I mean, do a period piece like that, it's not cheap. To make it happen,
it's
and not easy.
No,
the resources are hard to find. You know,
like, I don't know where he sourced a German tank. Not one, but
that's right. The tank in the beginning.
He had a German tank. He had a bomber plane that he sourced from like an air show, a couple states away. And he was like, "Can I use this?" And then not one, but like multiple 1940s vehicles, that one of which still worked, and you just had like, you know, you had to put some mustard in when you turn it on, but but it was like
pump the gas a few times.
Period vehicle, and not only a couple, but like one that someone let him set on fire. Like, I don't know where he's finding these people, but he's very active on Facebook, and people love him on Facebook.
He's resourceful.
But he went, and like half the extras that you see in a scene were people who like literally the day before, he and the producer were on Facebook being like, "Who wants to be in a scene tomorrow?" That's so cool.
Come on down.
It was people's friends. My best friend from Greensboro, she's in a scene in the movie. She's in.
Was she in the bar?
She's in the bar. Yeah.
I
That's
know
great.
who you're talking about.
Oh, do you? She's
Yes,
wearing like a headscarf. She's wearing like a bandana.
yes.
Yeah.
Because there's really only you and Adrienne are the only girls really in the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, pretty
and
much.
so like any other woman that I saw, I'm like, is that either one of them? So I
Yeah.
sought out the women in the background, like
Yes.
specifically to see if it was you or her.
No, yeah, it
and
was.
ironically, Brian and I both know Adrienne. She
Yeah.
lives very close to us, and we know it. When I saw her, I mean, I knew she was in it. But when I saw her like right by you, and then that whole, I don't want to give anything away, but like when that whole thing happened, I was like, oh my god, like it was
It's so cool.
It's
cool.
wild. I know, yeah.
And then the scene that with you and him afterwards, when you're walking away, and you're like, who the fuck do you think you are? Like it was that was one of my favorite moments as well. Like it was
was my favorite scene to film.
You were
too.
spectacular.
I was going to ask you what your favorite scene was. Like, is that your favorite moment from the whole movie?
Yeah, well, it's different because my favorite scene to do, like as an actor, like that was really the only scene where you get to like where Lena finally gets to like express a little bit about what's inside her, which is like, I have a job to do and what are you doing? You know, like the whole movie, this one guy has been in the way of her and her target, and she's got a lot to prove and everything. And that was like the one scene that where she got to express all of that. But I think my other favorite scene to film was like when I got to like kick the trunk open.
I love
was so
the
cool.
two things that we picked. That was so
badass.
badass.
They were
honestly.
So
like,
badass.
Maybe you could tell that those were two scenes that I really enjoyed filming.
You were spectacular throughout, honestly.
Thank
you.
You really, even like from the moment that you arrived, like you were spectacular. There was not a moment where you were comfortable or lazy or like, like as you can see, some actors kind of are like, I'm just doing this like because I can. Like you are in it, and was really, really like GR said, your joy is captivating to watch in real life, but your performance was captivating to watch on screen. Like honestly,
so much.
That's
so wow. That honestly, thank you so much. That really means a lot to me.
So true. It really, really. I couldn't take my eyes off you the whole time, and I love that you're a woman in that time kicking fucking ass. Like it was just.
I know,
all
like,
around.
From the get-go, come on there and kicking ass.
I was there for it. You know what I mean? I was like, hell yeah.
I keep saying, like, to Phil, like, there's demand for a prequel about Lena. Like,
Yes.
Without giving anything away, what happens to her ending? Because her ending is the character's ending is phenomenal too. By the way, like where your arc goes, it's so great. It's so great. Your last scene is amazing.
I know GR is gonna watch it as soon as this is over, so I do not want to give anything away.
Yeah, no spoilers. But it's
Everyone needs to check it out. They really do. It's a phenomenal movie. I'm so happy we have you on the show here tonight to talk about it. Like everyone, go if you can get in theaters, go see it in the theater because honestly, it's going to be a lot better in the theater because it's that huge experience.
We're in LA. I will find it in the theater and go see it in the theater, even though I've seen it.
It's in.
I feel like it'd be a much more immersive experience. You know?
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. It's like a big movie. The director definitely draws inspiration from like Indiana Jones. I think was like the one that was like thrown around the most, like not only in time period but also kind of like the swashbuckling and like how it's like it's kind of like cool and fun and like and it's like an action drama but like action first, it's like fun.
Absolutely.
He was like at least at the end of the day like make it like fun to watch, which I think
it really is a thrill ride. It's a thrill ride. Do you have, before we let you go, do you have like a favorite line from the movie that you were like, that was the most badass thing I said? That's a tough one, I know.
No, I know. I'm just really proud that I got all the German out and it's like cohesive.
The German was amazing.
Because,
so good.
Because all of the like there is one that's like Schwachsinn, which is like which is an insult and that I shout a lot. But it's just like it's a hard word to like get your mouth around if you're not German. And I was constantly hitting up Adrienne, being like, "Is this right? How would you say that? Is this right?" And she would, and I was like bugging her all the time about like I really want it to be good and right. And so I'm just like I'm proud I got all of those lines out and sounded like a little bit German, which is cool.
I mean,
Corinne, you
I'm
killed
not
it.
German, but honestly,
Thank you.
like when you were speaking, especially like when you were in that bar scene and you were talking to the three German guys who came in, and you were like explaining to him the situation with the other guy. Oh, it's his dad's, and even though you didn't believe that for 1 minute, like I was just
Yeah.
like, I was like, oh, she is jumping on this right now because she's working
Yeah.
her own angle, which I really
Yeah.
appreciated. But the German and oscillating between the German and the English and like your mannerisms, like you were so comfortable, like I didn't believe you were acting for 1 second, and that is really hard when you're around so many foreign things, and I don't mean literally foreign, like like a foreign language, but like the scene itself,
So natural
the
in your
fact that
skin.
like what you were playing was really difficult. Like
Thank
you know, like you're playing your own angle as a Mossad agent, and then you're dealing with like these people who you don't want them to know what's going on between you. Like there were just so many things going on, and you were speaking another fucking language that I thought was native to you, and it wasn't. So
Props.
bravo, girl.
Thank
Like
you.
honestly, amazing.
But this shows everybody, like, you could do this, like, if you're just an audition like that, an open call, you never know when your opportunity might come. Like, Corinne, like, out of nowhere, right? It's like all of a sudden this big opportunity, and it's just going to snowball for you. It really will, and I know it. I know it in my heart. It's going to be fantastic.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
it means all the more that I got it based on my, my merit alone, which is nice because he was like, he reached out to people specifically that he thought would be good for it, and he chose me instead.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Well, Corinne, thank you for being here. Thank you so much
for having me.
It means the world to us, and we love to promote this.
Yeah,
Everyone, please check out Condor's Nest. Do it now.
Yeah,
Get it.
go for it.
Go online or go to your local Redbox or go to a theater if you can. You have to see it. All right, you have to see her
Absolutely.
phenomenal performance. It's out there. You can find it right now. We know GR is going to watch it. One of our comments. Corinne Britti, everybody. Thank you, Corinne, for being here. We appreciate you being here on Kruse Control and taking time on your day to join us. Means a lot.
Yay.
All right.
Thank you guys so much.
Have a great night, and hopefully I'll be back someday.
Check her show out. Almost
Yes.
Therapy.
Yes.
Do that as
Yes,
well.
I have
She's
a comedy show
amazing.
called Almost Therapy. It's every third Wednesday of the month at Caveat in New York City. You should come. All right.
Perfect. Thank you,
Perfect.
Corinne.
Thank you so much. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much for being here. Take care. Have a great night. Bye. That was Corinne, everybody. Everyone please check out Condor's Nest. You have to do it. It's a phenomenal movie. You can find it anywhere you look around. It's on, like I said, Google Play. It's on Google Play. It's on Amazon. It's everywhere. It's Apple. You can see it in theaters. Do it now. Do it now, everybody. We appreciate it. So happy to have her here on the program. That was a lot of fun to actually talk to her about the movie, wasn't it, Sabrina?
And she was so sweet and kind
So
and like
sweet.
just a good person. Like you could just, her energy was great, which is always intoxicating for me.
It's so good. So happy to have her. But we're not done with our show.
Oh, I think Brian's taking a moment. I
when I was about to go
a few more things to talk about.
Yeah.
I don't know.
A few more.
Why do you keep leaving us?
I think we have to fire somebody at our chat area. But now it's time for some breaking news. Yeah. Happening with this program, but I'm about to slap somebody, so that's where I'm at. So let's start off with something in the news, and that is a little Deadpool news. So on Deadpool and Wolverine, Deadpool 3, it's going to be rated R. That's right, the very first Marvel movie that's rated R. And it makes sense. I mean, the other ones are rated R. Kevin Feige did an interview saying that he's so excited to have this be rated R. It's his first one under the Marvel franchise. And the fact that he actually was there day one on X-Men 1 when they cast Hugh Jackman to bring him home now to Marvel, he's super excited about it. So now we're going to get a rated R Marvel movie.
Honestly, I don't know how other Marvel movies
are
not rated R because they are super brutal and they're very violent. So I don't know how there are other Marvel movies that aren't rated R, but this is going to be great.
I know. And with that also, another thing that's happening is Peacemaker is not coming back quite yet. But James Gunn said that it's not done. Season 2 is coming. He just said that he needs to focus on Superman first and the Waller show because he's writing both those. And then once those are done, then he's going to move on to Peacemaker Season 2. Now, of course, it's still happening. and they're still going to be in the movie. Like they're still going to be in the show Waller. So Waller's kind of a continuation of Peacemaker season 1, and then they'll go into Peacemaker season 2 afterwards, which we'll shoot later on this year. He's saying, not too long, everybody. Don't have to wait too long for it. It's still happening. Peacemaker season is coming, everybody. So sorry for these problems. I don't know what's happening with our system. I have to probably rebuild something or fire somebody, but I keep chopping out for some reason. I'm still here. So we're going to move on. So the next thing we want to talk about is Picard. So Picard is coming back. Picard will be here now, streaming today on Paramount Plus. That's right. Picard is back, everybody. If you're a fan of the show, it's season 3. They're saying it's like the continuation of The Next Generation. So it's coming back right now. You can watch it. And then every week afterwards, we'll have the
more Picard coming soon.
And I don't know what's happening. I don't know, maybe we can't even do this tonight. I don't know what's happening. I tried switching back and forth, and we're here. But with that, also I want to talk about Ryan Seacrest. So Ryan Seacrest is leaving the morning show with Kelly and Ryan. And you're asking yourself why after 6 years. Well, apparently he's time to step down, and she's going to have her actual husband take over and be her new co-host. So it'll be Kelly and Mark now, everybody. Husband and wife co-hosting live with Kelly and Mark. So to me, I'm like,
I want to say that she met him on All My Children like 874 years ago, like when she was a teenager, and that they've been married for 1,000,000 years. They have a bunch of kids, and they're super happy, and I love them. They're the best couple ever.
I wonder if it's something too where they just want to I mean, maybe because he's leaving, she's like, hey, we don't see each other that often. We should just have a show together. You're an on-screen personality. Like, why not? Right? It's really nice to see.
Have a lovely relationship. They have such a lovely relationship, and to be together for that long in Hollywood, like with the pressure and everything that happens in relationships, like I just feel like it's so beautiful that they can, do a show together and get paid to work together. I don't know. I feel like it's really nice. And Ryan Seacrest has his hand in everything, so he can just, take a break on this.
He'll be fine. He'll be fine. And another thing that's happening.
He's the hardest working man in show business, dude. Really.
He is. Yeah, he probably needs a break. He has his own podcast too and everything. So like, why not? Why not like step aside a little bit? But with that too, I'm gonna talk about Mark Madden. Or John Madden. I'm sorry, Mark Madden. That was from wrestling. That's like, me as a wrestling. I'm a wrestling fan, so that's me going to my wrestling brain. But John Madden, which we know, they're doing a biopic, limited series about his life from football, from the Eagles, to becoming the coach, to becoming an on-screen personality. We're actually getting a whole show about his life. After the whole Tom Brady story, this came into play. His family wanted it, so we're getting a biopic about his life. Now it's a series, so they haven't announced how many episodes will be out yet, but
that's so interesting. Like
it'll be exciting.
He definitely deserves it. He's had an amazing career. It's just it's surprising. Like you don't see it too often for a football personality.
I know. But with that happening, I also talk about something that's not happening right away, and that would be Squid Game Season 2. Now, I thought this was shooting already. I know, I thought it was shooting already, but apparently they haven't even started shooting yet. So when they were talking about shooting before, there was the reality show. This is not going to start shooting until the summer. And they're saying it'll be at least 10 months for Squid Game Season 2 to be done, and it won't actually come out until like 2024.
Oh, wow. That seems like a really long break.
Fuck me. That's what I say. But I love this program. I love this, but fuck me tonight. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I can't believe we have to wait so long for this, but we will. So Squid Game Season 2, everybody, it's not gonna happen until 2024, which blows my mind.
Yeah, that does seem like a really long time, but it's not. I mean, it was so successful. Yay. I don't think it's really an issue that it's taking that long. I think the viewers are still gonna be there. Yeah,
I think so. Another thing that's happening is How I Met Your Dragon is going to be a live action show now. Live action show. I know. It's the whole thing is my program's not working anymore, everybody. So I think it's time. We're gonna call it quits tonight, I think, because I don't know what's happening. My camera went out now, so we're gonna have to get to the bottom of this. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you, Corinne, for being here. We appreciate you.
Corinne.
Watch her program, please, so much. Everybody, please Subscribe if you can. We're going to get to the bottom of this program thing. I don't know what's happening, but thank you for joining us here on Kruse Control. I have so much I want to talk about tonight, but unfortunately I can't. So take care. Have a good night. See ya.